can't see you.
So we're going to start the artist talk here with Terese Nielsen. So she's going to come around the corner here. She's going to talk about her work, particularly her new series here, which is called Creatures of Spirit. I'd like to introduce her.
I'm here.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Terese. She's been working primarily in the game industry for, I'm just going to say 15 plus years because I don't want to date her too quick.
Right.
It's been a long 5 years for her. She's been working for companies such as Wizards of the Coast. She's worked for Lucas Ranch doing Star Wars art. She worked for the History Channel and various other, you may have worked for Paizo. Marvel. Yeah, she's worked in the industry in general. One of her dreams, however, is to do a body of work based on her own inner growth as a person as well as an artist, which Creatures of Spirit has come from. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Terese Nielsen.
Yay!
Yeah. So for 25, not quite 30 years, I've been doing the illustration thing, which has been awesome. And I mean, to get paid to do art and play around in the studio and create imagery that you love to do is such a gift, and I love it. And that's been going on and sustaining me and my family for a long time. And I love it. And throughout that time, I've always had a dream or things that would wake me up in the morning or the night. It was like, what about some of your own ideas or your own thoughts or the things that you're super passionate about? And they would nag at me and still do, and it's hard because illustration work pays the bills, and I love it, and it took a long while to evolve into doing some of the things that are like, yeah, that's what I would do if I could hire myself to do a piece, right? And so Julie, and I give thanks for Julie at Krab Jab, right there, to say, how about you have a one-woman show and possibly have some of it represent some of your own ideas? And I'm like, that's perfect. That would give me the built-in deadline that I personally need. I'm one of those type that can't function unless I have a deadline. And so this was the deadline to do some of my own work. What I would want to do if I hired myself to do my own work, which is that's a weird thing to say. I never thought of it until now. How about I hire you to do this thing? So, all throughout, I mean, we had this scheduled from the beginning of the year where I'm like, let's push it off to the very end of the year until December. And of course, I filled it all up with traveling and deadlines for magic and everything else. And then we decided to move. We've lived in Southern California for 25 years or something. Then we moved this year, and that was no small task. And I'm like, this is not the year to move. I'm trying to do a show and a book and then all these things. So yeah.
How long it takes you to do one of these pieces?
So these couple months ago, I'm like, I've got a personal show coming up, and I have a voice, and I want to do some pieces. So I have a big piece. I wanted to do some really big pieces, and I have several ideas, and one that's going on. I go, well, I could do one because it's very detailed and big. I'm excited about, but it's like I'll finish that, or I could do several smaller ones that it would be something people could enjoy seeing and possibly buying and so on. So these take probably 2 to 3 days to do. And so this was the series that I did, and they're dear to my heart because for me, I love so many things, but animals have always come in, like when I need to learn something or know something, I'll have a dream, or something will show up in my world when I'm driving my car somewhere or something, and it will always be an animal or a creature. And most frequently in my dreams at night, where I'll have a very vivid dream. And my twin brother is a super animal freak. He's an entomologist, and he's very much into animals. And as a young person, I liked animals, but that wasn't my world. And so then later in my life, I would have dreams where animals would show up in my dreams, and I'm like, why is that? I'm not even like this huge animal person, but they would show up like a parrot, like a parrot showed up on my studio desk, like where the chair that I sat on at my studio table. I had this dream that this brightly colored parrot showed up on my studio chair and was bringing this, and this is just one of many, but it's like, why would I dream about this? I'm not even into animals, and it makes me research the symbolism between animals and the messages that they bring to us.
Yeah, they're spirit guides.
Exactly. They can be our totems, our guides. It's whatever we are attuned to listening to. And I think all of life can be that way. Doesn't have to be animals, but for me, those are something that's like, pay attention, listen, I have a message for you. It's a symbol. And so whenever they show up in my life, and they very, very frequently do, I do pay attention, and I research them, and I think about them, and I'll sometimes just barely draw them until this show came along, where it's like I actually want to pay homage, give them honor about their blessing to me in my life, because they've given me a lot of messages that are like, you need to go this direction, shift this, pay attention to that, go this way, that have been very powerful for me. So I have some pieces. I wanted to do some large pieces that actually incorporate animals and beings with people, because I'm more known to do people and idealized figures and that sort of thing. So I have some that I want to do that for as well, but at the same time, I also want to do some that are simply honoring the creatures that have certain messages for us.
This is the time when the bisons are starting to repopulate the open plains too, so that's particularly a powerful image that the spirit bison.
Yeah.
And also the amount of elephants are being killed in Africa, and they're dwindling.
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
And the raven.
Thank you.
It's always a very potent symbol.
Right.
So timid.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, every one of these has either come to me in dreams or real life where I'm like, wow, they're really trying to tell me something right now. And I really value that and I honor that, and I think it's awesome that Spirit can speak to us in this way, in many ways. And this is the way that Spirit most profoundly speaks to me.
So Teresa?
Yes.
Or Teresa, sorry. There's so many
It's okay.
One of the questions that I've had that I think a lot of other folks have in seeing this collection
Yeah.
is, A, do you plan on doing many more? And B, are you planning to take this to a direction? Is there some sort of plan to do something with this room other than just showing it like here at the gallery?
Yeah, thanks for asking. And yes, I really want to do a very large collection. I'm into the 7, so I think my next thing will be 7 times 7, so 49.
Keep dreaming.
Yeah, right? And I'm thinking of a divination kind of, I mean, that's the most obvious thing, which I actually use in my own life. So I'd love to make a divination deck of these pieces and how they show up symbolically and what they can teach you and give you. And what was the other question?
Well, that was pretty much the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
I guess also as well, are you going to base it on dreams that you had, or are you going to create a list of animals? Are you going to let it happen organically?
Very much organically, and that's been a thing for me because for all of these years I've been so much involved in being commissioned to do this thing, and so now this is a parameter of things like an animal or creature, and it's 7 inches by 7 inches, which I never get to work in a square format almost ever. So that gives me this parameter that's fun to work in. But mostly, with this project, I wake up in the morning and I go sit in my little cozy chair with all my books nestled around me and go, what do I want to do this morning? And it just turns me on fire. I can't tell you how exciting that is. Where it's not like someone says, I want you to do this, and we're going to pay you to do this, and you need to do this and this. And that's awesome, and I love it, and I honor it, and I'm so grateful for it. And, oh my gosh, just getting to do my own job of, let me sit in my chair and see what Spirit says is exciting to me. And sometimes it's, oh, I had this dream about this animal, or sometimes it's, I'm researching this technique because they're all different techniques. I mean, I don't really want to admit to this, but I will anyway because you're all here, and thank you very much. This one has melted diaper liners in it. Okay? It's a technique that I read about, and I'm like, that's so cool. So what could I do? Sometimes it's what being do I want to paint? Sometimes it's, there's this technique I want to try, and what would it work for what's exciting to me right now. So this is one of those. And part of the things that brings me to life is learning and trying different techniques. I'm kind of ADD. I get really bored if I have to do it the same way every time. So if I read books or read magazines or, some really weird kind of approaches to doing things really get me excited. so I'm like, oh, what could I do? What would I try? What would that technique apply really well to? And that excites me personally as an artist or illustrator. So, yes.
Can I ask again, which one was the diaper?
That was this one,
Oh, wow.
right up in here. I mean, yeah,
Is the top part of the buffalo?
yeah. I mean, they have this cool old skin that just like sort of shaggily like falls and, you know, it's just cool. So, and the other thing that really excites me is learning about symbolism and ancient ideas and mysticism and this golden thread of wisdom that goes through all religions and all of everything.
Tanka paintings,
Yeah,
iconography.
Right. I don't personally subscribe to any one religion. I honor and love all of them. So if I have an opportunity to study lots of them and try and embed different parts of any of them into an image to like kind of make it a mandala type of a thing that you can meditate on, or yeah, that you can just you can feel inspired by or uplifted by. I mean, that would be my ultimate, to inspire and uplift. I just think that's a
Do you have a
wonderful
website?
thing. Yeah, tnielsen.com. I think my cards are somewhere. Are they back there somewhere? So, any other questions?
I always have, I was just kind of curious, you know, in your own development as an artist, you know, can you tell us about like when you first kind of got it and you thought, yeah, I can do this, and I mean, does that make sense? I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think I'm an artist, and what am I going to do with it? And I'm just kind of curious, like when that hit you, and
That's an interesting question. To answer that, well, I went to art school to just be an artist, and I knew I had to be an artist when I paid for my art school by working at a meat packing plant, and that was, and I worked on a farm, and I've worked hard my whole life, but working in a meat packing plant, I saw people shooting up drugs and stuff just to manage working there every day. And, you know, I had things that went wrong with my body, and it was really a 3-month long, I did it for one summer. And I'm like, and I did that just to pay for school for a year. And my, what's he called, a foreman, when I told him, I go, I'm going to be leaving here because I'm going back to school, he goes, oh, a lot of people say that, but they always come back. Yeah, I know. And I was like, I will never come back here. And I never did, and I never will. And, you know, for better, for worse, that was one of my defining moments where I'm like, I will make this art thing work.
did you feel like you had it before you went to art school, and you just kind of needed that to validate what you already felt, or did you kind of get it after you studied art?
Yeah, I didn't feel like I had it, and I actually still don't, because I always feel like I need to learn more and that I'm never good enough. I never feel like I'm really arrived or I'm good enough or great. So, and that's maybe sad and good at the same time,
Yeah, so you're
because
still
it
pushing.
pushes
Yeah,
you.
right.
You know, you keep
I get that.
learning, and learning is exciting. So, I don't know if I answered
Oh yeah,
your
no, that was good.
question.
I hope it
Okay.
was an okay question.
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit more about your multimedia approach. It's so cool, and I love how varied it is. Elaborate with me.
About how I went with it.
You know, what makes you choose what you do, whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's everything from waking up in the morning going, I just want to try pastels today. I never used pastels for jobs. And so, like, say this one right here, that was all pastel. But, like, if I, like, accidentally drop my coffee or spit on it or even smudge it, oh my God, it's gone. Like, that's scary. So I never use pastels for a job. It's framed and it's all good and no one's gonna mess with it. But I love, pastels are awesome. I mean, you can smear them around, then erase out of them, and I mean, it's so much fun. So I love trying different things. I love, obviously you can tell, I'm a freak about gold and gold.
Do you put the gold with the brush there?
This is where you paint the adhesive on
And
with
then
the
you put the
brush,
gold
and
in.
then you
Yeah.
put the 23, and this is kind of a new thing, the 23 karat gold. I used to use the composition gold leaf that's not,
Not gold.
yeah. Well, it's not nearly as detailed and soft and, oh my gosh. I mean, okay, so I took a brush, like a ruling pen, like a crow quill pen. I dipped it in the stuff and made these little lines. And I had no idea that, one, I just didn't know I could make lines with the adhesive, and that it would adhere to it in these teeny little thin beautiful thing. Okay, the other fake gold would never do that. It just wouldn't work. Yeah. So it's if anyone likes the gold leaf thing, spend the money on the real gold leaf because it's way better. Yeah, it is. What else? I mean, they're just all kinds of things. This one has a lot of ink splattering and has some gold leaf going on. The crow has a rough kind of energy that, you know, I mean, it picks at things and it's textural, and I wanted that feel rather than a really smooth manicured kind of a feel. So there, it's splattered, and I took a lot of sandpaper and X-Acto knives and just scratched back into it.
Is it board?
I wanted it to
Work
be
on
rough.
board or paper?
This one was a thick paper. Yeah, yeah. So it just depended, but I like for the technique to speak to the essence of the what I'm trying to say about the animal. This one is a very elegant, the heron, very elegant, solitary.